Welcome to MetalVice in 666. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined with my other hosts.
Karen.
And for today's episode, it was something that kind of just spun out of listening to some music today. And I heard a song, and it was like, oh, that reminds me of such and such place or such and such time.
Okay.
And I thought it'd be fun with you just to sit down and think about the songs that we hear. And as soon as you hear them, it instantly takes you to a thing, or it makes you think of something as soon as you hear that song or something like that, right? So let's go ahead and start the timer, and I'll dive into it and give you a couple of my examples, and we can just go back and forth.
Okay.
Good. Go. So for me, the first one that comes to mind is any CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Okay.
A band from the 60s, 70s. I don't know exactly when. They only have like 4 albums, I think.
Okay.
It's John Fogerty is the lead singer. He left. He got sued by the band for sounding too much like himself afterwards. But like any of their songs, when I hear it, I instantly think of Vietnam War. And I think it's because of movies. Like, I feel like it's in Forrest Gump when he's in the Vietnam War era.
Okay.
You hear, CCR playing. And like all the time you see Vietnam War movies, you see CCR playing in the background or something like that. Fortunate Son, for example, is a good example, I think, where you always see that. And like when I hear that, not only do I think of that, but I think of like 4th of July as well when Fortunate Son comes on.
Why 4th of July?
I don't know. Maybe it's the whole bit where it's like the senator's son or something like that. Like, I don't know. There's bits into it. And I don't know. I just always think of 4th of July.
Okay.
And Vietnam War. But that's like one example. Like as soon as I hear CCR come on, it's like, oh, this is Vietnam we're talking about now.
Okay.
If not Vietnam, it's definitely like the 70s for sure.
Okay.
Another example of this is The Doors' Break On Through to the Other Side. And I think this is the song I heard, and I was like, oh, this is what... I instantly hear this, and I think of Vegas. I don't know why. I think it's in like one movie or whatnot where I heard that song, and it's like they're walking into Vegas casinos or something.
Okay.
And whenever I hear that now, The Break On Through to the Other Side is like, up, we're in Vegas. Like, that's where my head takes me. And I think a lot of my memories are definitely from movies, watching movies.
Okay. Not like us having memories or...
There's some of that. Do you have an example that might be like that?
Well, like, we hadn't listened to it for a long time. We listened to it a couple weeks ago, but like Griffin House, Better Than Love, which we had played at our wedding.
That was our first dance, I think, right?
Yeah, whatever that tradition is.
But yeah, that was definitely one, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I always think of. Or even, I don't even know what the song is, but the song that we walked into, Lumineers. Big Parade. Yeah.
Lumineers, yeah.
I don't know. Like those take me back to a place that we had, or like whenever I hear, Metallica, the song that you like.
Nothing Else Matters.
Nothing Else Matters. I always think of S&M 2.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I have those little things, but,
but like when
not
you
like
hear of it, it's like it takes you right to that moment or something.
Yeah.
I guess that's
maybe not. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just a memory of, oh yeah, this was played now, not like
you have a visual memory of that song that is associated with that song, and whenever you hear it, it takes you to that.
Yeah.
Some of it's that way for me too. It's both when I hear, I think of a time in history, like an event in history or something along those. Like I said, Vietnam War. Vegas is like a place, right, where I hear that and I think of Vegas. But there's other like hitting the nail on the head, like obvious things where Typo Negative, Bloody Kiss, and Rob Zombie Hillbilly Deluxe are always like, as soon as I hear them, I instantly think of Halloween.
Oh, okay.
For sure. Because to me, they're just very Halloween-y kind of music. Especially Bloody Kiss with Black Number One, Christian Woman, like all of those are like just very sort of gothic-y and kind of horror-y type songs. And I instantly go to Halloween. But the weird thing for Hillbilly Deluxe is it also reminds me of Christmas.
Oh, okay. Why Christmas?
So my sibling and I, we played a game called Blood, a computer game called Blood. And it was just this cheap dollar store computer game we found, and like $5 or $10, whatever it was. Bought it, played it. It's a first-person shooter, and you're running around killing like zombies and skeletons and demons and shit. And we installed that and played that around Christmas one year when we were off for Christmas break, and we listened to Rob Zombie Hillbilly Deluxe on repeat nonstop while playing that.
Okay.
So I have a vivid memory of that album playing that game around that time of year.
Yeah.
And it was always like a tradition with me. It's like, I'm going to listen to this album every year around Christmas. And I did for like 5 years, and it's sort of fallen off. But that's one thing that it always like brings me back to that time and place as well.
Yeah. I guess it's Shaggy, what's his song? Like, Couldn't Be Me or Wasn't Me? Wasn't Me?
Wasn't Me?
Yeah, like that always reminds me because that was really popular when my aunt would take us to and from school. So whenever I hear that, I always think of like getting picked up from school.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I don't have very good examples like you do. Yours are really elaborate. Mine are just like, oh yeah, if I hear this song, I think of this.
But you also brought up Big Parade from Lumineers.
Yeah.
And that's another one to me that, yes, it was our walkout song. It's really important in our life and whatnot. But I always also think about 4th of July there as well.
Okay.
And because I know when we first started dating, you would come over to our house on 4th of July, and we'd grill out with my dad, and we would go and watch the parade in Grinnell. Just sit there and watch. Like, we'd walk up a few blocks, and like the parade route was right there. And yeah, so whenever I see that song, I think of like, Big Parade.
Oh, okay. But that wasn't even out when we did
It wasn't,
that.
no. But
oh,
like,
you just remember
just like the lyrics
yeah.
and talking about like, like the whole parade aspect of things. Like, oh yeah, I kind of
remember going to a parade.
And I really haven't been to many parades since then. I kind of grown out of them and really kind of hate them. But I do remember having vivid memories of 4th of July, grilling out brats, going to the parades with you and my dad.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't think that song would remind me of that, but I don't know what would. But
yeah. But I mean, I guess that's the whole point, right? Like, music's very powerful. We all know that. And there's certain things where you can hear just like one beat, one riff, like one vocal, and you're instantly taken somewhere else in time and place. And you're just like, oh, I instantly now associate this memory or this event with this song.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know if you have any other additional ones that come to mind.
I can't even think of the song, so I don't even want to bring it up. But there's like that Linkin Park song that I first remember listening to in the parking lot of Walmart, and I always bring it up. But right now, I cannot think of what the song is.
It's kind of slipping your mind.
Yeah.
You'll have to try to remember that.
Yeah, we could put it up on the screen.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, like I don't know, we're at time, but there's a lot of songs, a lot of memories. We'll have to think more of this. Maybe there's more. Like, we only touched on a handful of songs, but clearly there's a lot out there that we can hit up.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen to music, find a connection to it. There's a lot there to find.
Yep. Bye.
Yep.